I've been really struggling with not allowing my external to shape my internal. It's like you're going to be a millionaire, but you look around and you don't quite see it yet. And not allowing that to deter you, not allowing it to get you down. Or when there's a certain relationship that's on its way, and you're like, I'm not seeing career. The career that you want is in your grasp. You know that the life you have been manifesting is in your clutches. And it's just like, oh, there's like a click, one click, two clicks that are still waiting to click into place. And you're trying to force it maybe a little bit. I know I have. Rather than just be like, it's not so bad here. It's cool. I like it. Still enjoying it here a little bit. I got off track because I got off track because I stopped being honest. Back to being honest. It's not always easy. And people say like be delusional. I don't know. I think that y'all done overdid it with delusional. And delusional just feels delusional. When I think about my journey moving to Dallas from Canada, I haven't even shared that journey with y'all. But I had to believe without a doubt. I came into my spiritual journey in 2020, and it was like on a precipice of when I was at a place of great despair. It was like all hope was lost. And I came into spirituality, and then everything clicked. Everything made sense. Coming from a Christian background, it just was not clicking over on that side for me. And that's okay, because we all click where we need to click. And so I finally understood life. Things started making sense. I was like, oh, it makes sense why I've been in these relationships. I've attracted these types of men, where I've attracted these types of friends, why I've been in these types of careers. Everything started to make sense. But I wasn't happy with living in Canada. So I knew when I visited Dallas for the first time, I knew it was home for me. I said, I have to be here. And then when I moved to Dallas in 2021, I realized, now looking back, when I was on my spiritual journey, I believed it with every ounce that I had within me, because that's all that I had left. Even though I had no clue what I was doing, I just knew it was the right path. And at that time, I was at home. It was during COVID, and I was trying to do everything to just make something shake. I had started a business. I had started a business with my brother. I had started doing crypto, stocks. I had started working with a friend to manage his social media page. I had ended up taking on a dog. I had did so many things. I started my TikTok. I started this TikTok, actually. I started my other TikTok. I started so much stuff. And then I realized that doors started opening up for me just doing things, literally just trying stuff. And I ended up getting a remote job, and I ended up moving to Dallas based off of that job, doing my work visa. In order for all of that to come together, I realized that I had to find happiness being in Canada before I could move to Dallas. I had to, everything that I wanted to manifest, everything that I wanted for myself, I had to create in Canada before I could move to Dallas and experience it. I kept getting messages like, happiness is not a destination. You have to find happiness where you're at. If you're not happy where you're at, you're not going to be happy where you're going. And I was like, they're right. I was like, how am I just gonna all of a sudden be a happy girl and I've been sad every day? So I started finding more and more ways to find happiness while I was at home, from Alberta, Canada, by the way. So at the time, I ventured out into things that was unfamiliar for me. With the dog that I had at that time, I went on walks. I started going on walks. Hated walks. But then when I was in nature and I was going on those walks, I found myself connecting to nature. I found myself talking to the universe, talking to God, having these beautiful conversations, finding myself more and more. First I started for 20 minutes, and then I found myself going for 2-hour walks, sometimes walking the dog 3 times a day, just to get outside in the summers. And even in the winters when it was freezing, when it was, for those who do Celsius, it was like below 30, below 20, I would bundle myself up and go for walks just to be in the snow because it was so much fun walking with the dog and connecting with nature and just talking out loud to the universe. And I would talk about my fears of moving. I would talk about the struggles I was having with my depression, just everything that I needed to be rid of. And then I started finding myself cultivating and practicing more and more gratitude. Whenever I would go to the dog park, or whenever I would go outside, or I would see a sunset, or a lake, or a pond, I would just take pictures of nature. I love taking pictures of nature and savoring the beauty that is this universe. And I would just be thankful for another day to be able to go for a walk, be thankful for another sunset, be thankful that over there the sun doesn't set sometimes till 10:30 at night, and it would be the most beautiful sunsets. I should take some of the pictures. And I found myself, the more it got time for me to move to Dallas, things were coming together, even though, mind you, I'm all over the place, but stick with me. In moving to Dallas, I was terrified because at first I had got my job and I was like, yes, I'm going to move. And then my mom was like, well, you need a work visa. You can't just move to America. And I was like, ugh. And I was so stressed and I was ready to give up. I was like, well, you know what? Forget it. I tried. And then my friend at the time, she was like, no, like, you got this. This is like, we're going to get this done. We're going to do it together, blah, blah, blah. So then each day I told myself I was going to chip away at this goal, moving to Dallas. Just do one thing, whether it was just look for an apartment, look at ways to get my work visa, just something, even if it was something small. And then every single time I found myself even thinking about moving to Dallas, or even just doing one thing, I would see 1 2 3 4. I would see angel numbers. I would see 1111. And mind you, I didn't know what any of these things meant. It's just something that stood out to me when I would just be thinking of Dallas. I would just look over at the stove and I'd be like, it's oddly 1 2 3 4 every single time. And I started picking up on these synchronicities. Started picking up on the ways my universe was communicating with me to be like, yes, you're on the right path. You're on the right path. You're doing the right thing. And people would ask me like, oh, when are you moving? When are you moving? Even when I had no clue when I was moving, I'd be like, yeah, you know, I'm going to move soon. I'm getting ready to buy my ticket. Even when I didn't know if I was going to get the work visa, I was like, yeah, I'm moving to Dallas in June, or I moved in July of 2021. And I would tell people, like, they'd be like, are you excited? Even inside when I didn't know and I was unsure, and they would ask me and I'd feel so much anxiety because I'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing. But outside, I'd be like, yeah, I'm so excited. Everything's going to work out. It's going to be great. Yeah, you know, I've been looking at apartments, and I had been looking at apartments. And yeah, you know, I'm going to stay with my friend for a few months until I find a roommate. And it just slowly started coming together, even though I didn't know how. The lights went out. Even though I didn't know how it was going to come together, it did. And I'm realizing that now I'm in another phase in life where the universe is like, okay, it's time for you to transition again. What did you do to transition in the first place? So I just share this with you to say that if you're in a space where you're struggling, try the new thing. Do the things that make you light up, even if it's new. Continue to lean into the things that are uncomfortably comfortable, if that makes sense. Do the things that have brought you peace and happiness in a new space. Cook the foods that you know are going to make you feel happier and lighter. Do the practices, read the books, go out in nature, go to the new place, try the networking. Do the things, because the more you do those things and find happiness in those things, is the more you're going to see yourself in a new reality before you even realize. It's 2025 and I am in Dallas and I'm happier than I've ever been. And it's all because I just decided to trust and believe that I'm on the right path.